Alright guys, so today before our lesson, I want to go over some vocab quick. Today we're going to use something called a content enhancement routine. This is a tool to help us make deeper connections and determine important information, because if you guys are like me, I like to take lots of notes and then look back at my notes and like, wow, that's a lot of information and I don't know what to do with it. So we're going to use a routine to help you. So today you guys are going to help me fill out the diagram, so you are going to help lead discussion and help me figure out what's important for us to put into this diagram. This is called the framing routine. I have one out at your desk right there. And so you're going to help me determine important information, and we're only going to pick out essential details so our diagram isn't full of too much information. Okay, so our topic for today, I have up here, is plot line. Now, does anyone want to take a guess at what plot line is? Yeah, Sam.
Is it the order of main events?
Yes, very good. So now, because we've discussed that, we need to write an is about statement. So plot line is about the order of main events. Awesome. So now I'm going to go over our three main ideas that involve plotline, which is rising action, climax, and falling action. And the way plotline goes, it's going to look like this. And we'll determine where each main idea goes on the triangle. So let's take a look at rising action. So what does rise mean?
Go up.
Exactly. So during rising action, it's a build-up. There's usually a lot of, it's a series of events that have occurred, and a lot of conflict is supposed to develop here. So rising action starts here, and it's going to build up. So we need two essential details to put down here. So what are two things that we want to put in here? You can talk with your partner if you want to get an idea. Shaylin, did your group come up with something?
Yeah, but it's building up.
Nice. Sean and Sam, do you need a couple more seconds?
Is this the time when like problems or conflict can occur?
Yes, conflict's developing. Good job. So our rising action starts right here. Okay, so now we're going to go into climax. This is the high point of the main conflict. It's generally the most intense point of a plot, and it's sometimes called the turning point. The climax can often be expected or unexpected. So what are some details that we can write down here for climax? You guys can think, pair, share for a little bit. Amelia, what did your group come up with?
We said like the big event that happens in the story.
Nice job. Sean, what did you guys come up with?
We said it was like the high point of conflict.
Nice.
So when it reaches its peak.
High point, reaches peak. Nice.
Is that kind of when the turning point is too?
Yes, that's why climax can also be called turning point. That's another name for it. All right, nice observation, Sam. So now we're going to go on to our next main idea, which is falling action. So what does falling mean, Sean?
It's like when you fall over.
When you fall over?
Yeah.
So when you fall, do you go like up or down?
You go down.
Yeah, so falling action, I forgot, climax would be the high point right here. But falling action is kind of where everything starts to slowly turn back. Usually we wrap up loose ends, and it leads to closure, and our main conflict is usually resolved in most plot lines. So what are some details that we want to write for following action? Why don't you think, pair, share with your partner? Sam, what did your group come up with?
So like the conflict that happens in the rising action, is this when like the conflict would be resolved or figured out?
Yes, resolve conflict. Did not spell that right. Shaylin, what did you guys come up with?
We talked about it's leading to the resolution today.
Nice work, guys. All right. So now we need to come up with our so what statement. So right now I want you to think, pair, share with a partner. What does plotline do? Why is it important? So just collaborate right now. Shaylin, what did your group come up with?
We said tells a story.
Yeah. Sean, did your group come up with anything else?
Kind of helps us understand the big picture.
Yeah, so can we combine those two ideas? What's a sentence we could come up with? Plotline tells a story, it helps us understand the big picture. Nice. Oh my. Nice work, guys. So I'm going to point out these arrows on top of your frame right here. So I use these arrows because plotline is generally a cause and effect. So what happens in rising action is going to affect climax, and what happens in climax is going to affect falling action. So these arrows help us remember that things that happened in the past can have an effect on the future. All right. So right now, I want you to review with your partner, what can the frame do and help us with? So think, pair, share right now with your partner. Amelia, what did your group come up with?
We just said that it helps break down big ideas into little ideas.
Nice work. Sean, did you have anything else to say?
Yeah, it helps us understand the big picture and why things turned out the way they do.
Perfect. So right now, you're going to think, pair, share again about 4 different ideas. So I want you to come up with what is plotline, rising action, climax, and falling action. Okay, Sam, what did you guys come up with plotline and for rising action? You can also look back at your frame too to help you.
The rising action is where the conflict develops, and that's the build-up point.
What about plotline?
The plot line, it's the order of main events, or like what it's about.
Perfect. Shaylin, what did you guys come up with for climax and falling action?
Climax is the turning point, the big event, and falling action is the resolution.
Nicely done, guys. Good work. So right now, we're going to do a little activity. I'm going to give you a blank plotline diagram, and you're going to label which action happens where. And then underneath your label, you're going to give me at least 2 essential details about each main idea. Nice work today, class.